So
Vediamo
list,
un po'.
quello che
Lists are
possiamo
very
scoprire
important.
sulle liste in questo primo articolo in italiano su Python, in pythonprogramming.altervista.com.
So, here we are. I'm translating in English the video that I did about list in Italian. So, let's see what we have. We have a list, and to create a list, we just have to say variable equal to something into parentheses. That can be any kind of item, can be an object like an integer, a string, or another kind of object, a class itself, anything in the sense of a class, anything. And if we print this variable with print, we will find that I have to save the file. Wait a moment. And while I'm saving the file, I want to say that if you print that variable, that is the name that points to the list containing those items, if we print it, we will let me save the file, and then let me run this script. Here it is, how it appears: 1, 2, 3, 4 in square parentheses, so I can always check what's inside the list. Then I can also make a for loop to iterate all the elements, and so for each elemento in L I will print elemento, and so here it is. I got the first way to see the elements and the second one for each line. Let's see other things, and let me print for each element in a row with 4, and so that I understand what is printed on the console. Then I want to print the dir of L. L is our list, and so I want to see what are the attributes and methods of the list. You know, with dir you can know that. Here it is, our attributes and our list, the double underscore that are special method that Python has, and then we have append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, etc. And we will see this method in our video. This is the first part of the video dedicated to list. So now let's see how to add an element to the list using append. Here we append another element, 6. Then we print, and we see that before and after the append method. So if we want to insert to append more than one element at a time, let's see if we can make it with append. And how we can make it? We can't make it in this way, because you see there is a type error, because you need just to pass one argument. And so you could pass as argument a list. So that is one argument, a list, but it comes as a nested list. So you see there are double square parentheses. And if I want to avoid this, and if I want to put more elements at the end of the list without nesting one list into another, then I have to use another function, another method, that is extend. And so if I use extend this time, instead of a nested list, you will have the two items of the list will be in the same list. And so this is the difference between append and extend. And so with append you just can extend of one value. If you want to extend more value, you get to use extend. And you could also extend just one item, like with append, but you have to put in square brackets instead of just the number like with append. And that's pretty much all you need to know. Now I want to show you something else, and now I change those values so that you see again how it works. I think it's pretty clear. And with append you can't do something like this, like unpack something. This is with the asterisk. In Python often it's possible to unpack value in a list or in some other tool. And you see here we got, without the asterisk, we got the elements in the square brackets. Instead with the asterisk we have all the separated elements, one at a time, with a space in between. I can also put a separator between each element with using the asterisk, and this is a very handy way to unpack the item in a list. So here with the separator /n, you go to a new line. Instead I can put anything in between, so it's very useful sometimes to print in the way you want each element without using a for loop or something like that. Now let's see how to copy a list, or how to get just some of the items. Let's choose just one item. The first item, it's not L square bracket 1, but it's L square bracket 0, because the first element is element 0, then there is element 1, 2, 3, 4. So an element with 5 items, a list with 5 items, will start with 0 and will finish with the address 4. So the fifth element is L bracket square 4, not 5. If you use 5, you will get an error, because there is not an address 5. The latest address is 4. In fact, if I print the fourth element, L4, I will have, if I print the fourth element, the fifth element is at the address 4, because it starts with 0. Okay, I hope this is right. You got to get used to the fact that the first element is at location 0, the second is at location 1, and so the last element will be at the 5-1 position. Okay, it's at position number 4, starting from 0. In fact, if you use len L and we print it, we will get how many elements are there in the items, so the length of the list. So the length of the list in this case is 5. The last element is 5, but it's not to get it. You have to go to position number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and not to the position number 5, because the position number 5 is not present. If you use -1, we will have the last of the list. So if we put another element, it will give me always the last one. Now if I put I can also put a string into a list, because I can use any kind of objects, and as you see, the last element is chow, the string. So when I put -1, I will always have the latest element, no matter if the elements in the list changes. And if I do search the element corresponding to the length of the list, I will have an error, because the length of the list, that is len L in this case, is 5. So if I do search for the element number 5, or number, in this case it's the elements are 7. If I search for the element in the position 7, I will get an error, because it goes to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so the element, the 7th element, is in position number 6. So I have to put a -1 to the len L, so that I don't get an error when I search for this element using len. And so now I want to here we are, there are 7 elements, but the last element is at position number 6. So it's the len of the list -1, the last position. Okay, once we told this, we want to see how to copy the list, and so we are going to do it. We want to copy all these items, and we don't want to write them again. So to copy, we have to know something about how to get a part of the list. Here it is. If we use L brackets and -2, we get not the last elements, but the elements before the last. And so with -3, it's 2 elements before the last, and so on. And now, if you write this 0, column 1, we will get the element from 0 to the element 1 not included. So we have just the first element, because the element 1 not included is 2, but it's not included. If we put 0 to 2 not included, the element in position 2, we'll get 1 and 2. So, and 0 to 3, we will get the first 3 elements, and so on. If we start from 0, we can also omit the number 0 and leave column 3, and it's exactly the same. and let's change the items. Let's put just some strings, casual strings here, to avoid confusion with the number at the position into the list. So I forget a comma there after the last elements. I'm gonna correct it later. And so you see, and here it is. We just have the first 3 elements. The list now is has the len of 4, just because I made the mistake. I'm gonna make the correction soon. Here it is. If I don't put any number at the start and the end, just a column, I will print all the list. So I put the comma here, so I have 5 elements. Now this way to write, if I put 1, I will exclude the first element. As you can see, there is not the A, because I start from 1. I don't start from 0. From 1 to 3, I just have to the first 2 elements, because I got element number 0, element number the element number 1 and the element number 2. And now we are going to copy this list into another list, I can say L2 equal L square column square. In this way, I have two different lists that have the same items. Let's see if this is true with the id. ID is useful to see the address of a variable, so that I can see if the variable points to the same values. ID, I have to correct this in this way, and here it is. You see the two lists get the same elements but are not the same because they are stored in different position. So L points to a position in the memory, and L2 is his address is different. So what happens if I change one of these two lists after I copied? You will see that just one changes. You see here we got the two lists, they are different. They got the same elements but a different address. So if different identification, so identification number. So if I change the first after we copied it, and now we are going to do it. Let me go a little faster here. Okay, and if I append now come va to the first list, then if I print after this change, if I print the two lists, you will see that they are not. They don't have the same values anymore. And this is to demonstrate that when you copy this way, you will create a new list, and you will see that this is important because it may confuse you in another situation. Here it is. As you see, the first element has been changed and has 6 elements. The second was the same with the same element, but now is different because we changed only the first. Instead, there can be a situation where you have 2 L3 equal L. In this case, this is different from this one. You can see we got 2 names, 2 labels, but the values are the same because these 2 labels are pointing to the same list. This means that you can have access to them both with L3 or L, but if you change the list with one of these, also the other list will change because there is no other list. It's always the same list. They just are different name for the same list. It's like a person is called John from the friends and Jack from his family. The names are different, but the person is always the same. So if we take away an element from L with pop, that we'll explain later how it works, you see there are just 5 elements, not 6 like before. But let's print L3 and see if it has still 6 elements like before, because it's we wrote L3 equal L, or it is different. You see, it's not different because it has also 5 elements, because they are just 2 names of the same list. When we use this L3 equal L, we could also use another method that is L3 equal L dot copy if we want to have a different list. L dot copy is the same that this one. So here we have 2 different lists with 2 different names, but with the same elements. when we change one of these, it doesn't affect the other list that stays the same. Instead, this other way to copy a list is not a copy, it's just assigning a new name to the list. So you can use both the name to change the same list. When you change the list with one of these names, the change is can affect also the other name, because the list is just one, but the names are two. We can also prove this going to check the ID of L3 and L and L. As we have seen before, the ID of L and L2 are different, but we can see if the address of L3 is the same of L or it is different. So ID L, let's print it, and let's print ID L3. Let's run it, and let's see here that they both got the same ID. So they are just the same. If I change one, also the other will change because it's the same one. And for this video is everything for now. Let's see how it works with lists in next video.